Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is not going to be a beauty video, but it will be about the WSLF diet and my experience on it, some tips from my dietitian, and just how I've been feeling on the diet thus far. I started this about 3 weeks ago. I did kind of cheat a little bit with some like vegan cheese and some vegan butter and a little bit of olive oil one day. So technically, I've been on it for like 2 weeks. And this video is specifically for the Jane Objective. She's one of my friends on Twitter, and we've been talking about this diet and DMing each other back and forth. So I thought I would just share everything that I know so far. So what I did was I saw my doctor and my dietitian, which I suggest everybody does. Then I bought this book by John McDougall, whom is a doctor. And, you will find so much success stories on the internet. On YouTube, you could search any diet and people are going to be like, oh my goodness, I lost so much weight. Whether it be South Beach or keto or Atkins or paleo or just being vegan. And so, maybe if you're watching this, you've lost weight, cutting out carbs completely, and you're like, this is a bunch of bullshit because, whatever worked for you, so that has to be the right way, which can be kind of confusing to people because not every diet out there is for everybody. And although this is mostly a vegan diet plan, it's not really promoted, aside from the militant vegans here on YouTube, as a vegan diet. So I'm just saying, you might not have the same results as me so far. You may not, you may have had success doing something else, but this is just about this diet. And there are different kind of ways to go about the diet, but I want to specifically stay on track with what to eat, what not to eat to lose weight on the diet. So I have some notes from my dietitian. This is for me personally, but if you need to lose upwards of 20 pounds, this, then you're like me. And so, hopefully I can, give you some good guidance, but I do recommend picking up the Starch Solution book. The science behind it is too complicated for me to sort of explain, especially in a short video. But even if you do find enough information online to get started on the diet, I still recommend getting the book because I have like all these pages folded over here for all of these amazing recipes. So it's worth it even just for the recipes. So, okay, so I am pleasantly plump. I wasn't always pleasantly plump, but I am 180 some pounds, and I'm like almost 5'3". So that is technically obese. I've been some form of a vegetarian, vegan, for a long time. Off and on at some points. My biggest thing is with drinking. So I would drink a lot of beer and eat a lot of really shitty foods. And I was depressed, especially after I lost my grandmother. So it wasn't so much that I was eating like constant junk, but along with some of the junk I was eating, I just was not like exercising. I just wanted to lay in bed all day and just cry. And so at my fittest, I was 113 pounds, but then it got really obsessive. This was when I was like 16 to 18. I had to work out. It was 3 hours every single morning, every day of the week, no matter what. Even when I went on vacation, I made my boyfriend at the time get up with me at like 6:30 in the morning to go walk the boardwalk for like a couple of hours. And then we would walk the boardwalk like all day long, And so I could kind of eat whatever I wanted. I'd have like cereal with like a ton of sugar in it for breakfast. And then I would eat whatever I felt like for dinner, French fries, whatever it was going to be. I was burning so many calories and I was only eating twice a day. And it got to the point where it's all I thought about. And even though I was at my thinnest then, and I did have like abs and everything at one point before I cut out even more food for my diet, I was way more insecure back then than I am being fat. Because it's all I thought about. It's all that mattered to me. I thought that everybody knew that I was like exercising and trying to lose weight. And when you're obsessed sort of with something like that, it feels like everybody else can tell. So I was very insecure. So, I kind of just did the vegan thing for a while. Like I gained a little bit of weight, but not much. I was about 150. And then, about 145 or so. And when I went like very strict vegan, I had vegan waffles, I had vegan cheese, I had, rice and vegetables from the Chinese place. I would make my own vegan pizzas, and I started doing Pilates. And I was down to about 123 at that point. And I was happy, and then life happens and sometimes we gain weight. I've always sort of had an issue with weight. My dad used to call me fat whenever I was little. And, my mom and my grandma were always like very critical of people like on TV. They would be like, oh, she got heavy, or oh, look at her, she's so fat, which is why I'm not like that, because I know how that felt to like grow up around that. So I always sort of had this pressure to be like skinny, So anyway, now that my story's out of the way, I really wanted to find a diet that I could lose weight on, watch what I'm eating. I've tried the low carb. I did a vegan keto diet. Yes, I had some success with those, but it was so hard to maintain, and it's so hard to like not want to just binge eat, because you're lacking so many things in that kind of diet. So I did a little bit of digging on the internet, and then I decided to pick up this book, and so far I'm feeling like amazing. My skin is feeling great. It's looking great. I have so much energy. It's like ridiculous. And so far I think it's very fitting for me because I'm already vegan. And what I cut out when starting this diet mostly were like vegan processed foods, like vegan cheese. I love my vegan cheese, the Daiya cheese, oh my goodness, but it is very processed, and there is some fat in it. And, all of these diets like South Beach and paleo and everything, the one thing that they all have in common is like not eating packaged foods, not eating junk foods, not drinking soda, limiting caffeine, limiting alcohol. And if you just do that, you will see some success, because that's kind of what I started to do before really getting into this diet. And it can be very overwhelming. And I'm going to link a couple videos down below that are from Dr. McDougall, and some seminars and stuff that I think will be really helpful. They are lengthy, but he can explain it better than I can. You will also find on YouTube a lot of these WSLF, which is whole starch, low fat, diet fanatics, are already skinny, or they already were really skinny. And so they're talking about, oh, I lost 10 pounds, and they're already like so skinny, which, oh my goodness, I wish I were skinny. More so now, I just want to be healthy. I'm 35 years old. I cannot just be this way, and be healthy. So, but I noticed that a lot of them were already like hardcore vegans, already into bicycling like all the time, already into hiking a lot. They were already very active. So I kind of just wanted to share this with you, like the little steps I've been taking, because it can seem overwhelming. Like you have to change every single thing right now. And most people, you can't just go out and buy a whole new fridge of food or a pantry full of food. And, a lot of people can't afford this whole like super vegan, organic, kind of diet, because healthier foods are more expensive, which is bullshit, but it's true. So anyway, the basics of this diet are good starches and whole foods, basically. So what you can eat, and for example, what I eat is still cut oats. I make those in the morning. You can have fruit, any kind of fruit you want with it, bananas. You are allowed to have a little bit of table sugar. One of the videos I'm going to link down below is a very interesting video about how sugar sort of became a scapegoat for weight gain and health issues, when a lot of these studies left out the fact that most of these places, their diets were very high in fats, oils, butter, you know, animal fat, that kind of thing. So that's a really good one to watch, because you can have some sugar, and where you're getting that sugar from is important. It's better to have the table sugar than stevia, for instance, or monk fruit sugar, because that's even more processed. So it's all very interesting. So anyway, so for breakfast, I'll have that, or I'll have a little bit of vegan eggs, and they taste just like eggs. So if you're an egg fan and you're vegan, I highly suggest picking them up. A lot of times on Amazon, they'll have a 2-for-1 sale. I think each carton does make 15, I think, like eggs, normal eggs. They're very good, no cholesterol. It's still high in protein. It's plant-based, but there's very little to no fat in them. And that's sort of what you want to focus on. The lowest fats that you can eat. You want to stay away from, for weight loss, you want to stay away from all butters, even if it is a vegan butter. If you can find a reduced fat one, maybe, but very, very limited. No oils, no olive oil, no safflower oil, no canola oil, no peanut oil, no oil at all. And the vegan part of this diet comes in because you're supposed to limit all dairy, your butter, milk, all that disgusting stuff, and animal fats. Now, there are some people that do this diet and they'll eat very low fat, and maybe for dinner they'll have a piece of grilled chicken, no oil, just some seasoning, and that, you know, will be their fat for the day. Yes, there are healthy fats, avocado, things like that. There are foods that you will be able to reintroduce into your diet eventually, but focusing on the weight loss, this is what you got to do. You got to cut it all out. You know, limit alcohol, limit your caffeine. If you're going to have coffee, try to do like an unsweetened almond milk with it, something that's very low in fat and calories and sugar. So I usually have oatmeal, and then around lunchtime, I may have a salad. I may just roast some vegetables. It's very vegetable based. And I'll roast a healthy starch. I'll roast potatoes, sometimes sweet potatoes, sometimes purple potatoes. White potatoes are fine on this diet. And I'll roast those with carrots, sometimes asparagus, or, you know, fresh, like whole green beans, and all kinds of things, you know, just pop it in the oven. I was thinking to myself, how is roasting vegetables like without an oil going to happen? But it does happen. You can get an Earth Balance spray, like a Pam cooking spray, a non-stick thing, but it's actually like vegan and it's supposed to be more natural. And I usually spray that inside of the pan and then I wipe it out. So that way, and I put a little bit of water in there and the vegetables won't stick and they taste amazing. So I would load up on some potatoes and rice. So if you have a rice cooker, awesome. If you have an Instapot, even better. You can just pop your rice in there, pop your oatmeal in there. And what I've been doing and what has been suggested a lot, and this is one thing that my dietitian had told me. She said a lot of people, especially vegans, for some reason, are very like anti-microwave. And she said, in reality, the less time you cook vegetables, the better, which makes total sense. So she recommended, and they do have organic brands, but everybody from Jolly Green Giant to Bird's Eye, to, I think it's called like Cascadian Farms or something, all have these steam in bag, you know, microwave vegetable mixes. I love the broccoli cauliflower one. There's even a cauliflower rice one, which is really great. Then you're cutting out even a little bit more. It's so good. And I'll just pop those in the microwave. They take about 3 to 4 minutes, and I got my rice going, and that's my dinner. Sometimes it's my lunch and my dinner. It is boring. It can be boring anyway, and it seems kind of like a bland diet, but you can have all of the vegetables you want. If you want to lose weight, I would limit your fruits to maybe about 2 a day. You can have a banana, don't worry about it. And just stick to the healthy starches. You can have white rice. I would recommend doing a wild rice. If you have any type of stomach inflammation issues, which I have a history of gastritis, I had colitis. I mean, I have food allergies, and so that's why I kind of became vegan in the first place. But if you have any of those issues, I would kind of stay away from brown rice, only because it's very, very high in fiber, and sometimes that can actually cause an irritation for inflammation, according to my dietitian. So, and I eat white rice and whatever kind of rice I feel like having. Salads, a little bit more difficult. Once in a while, I will get like an Annie's brand. They have an Italian dressing, which is fat-free, and there's no like weirdo like things in it. And I'll have that with like a bunch of vegetables. And when I make potatoes, I mean, I used to rub olive oil on the baked potato and then bake it and then put like a ton of vegan butter in it and stuff. So instead of that, I don't put any oil on the outside of it, but I season it now with a little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of chives, just parsley, just a whole bunch, get some seasoning. Also, you may want to watch your salt intake, because you can kind of like go a little overboard since you're not having that butter or that olive oil flavor there. And that's what you mainly focus on. The things you cannot eat for now would be nuts, any kind of nut butter, any oils, any fats, animal fats, anything like that. And I mean, it's pretty easy to follow, and it's pretty great because the starches that you can have, you know, like the rice and the potatoes, you can get a bulk sort of amount of that stuff for not that bad of a price. There is no, my dietitian recommends, you know, get organic if you feel like it. There's a lot of stuff out there that says the organic really isn't very much different. And in order to be certified organic, it doesn't necessarily mean that there are no chemicals in that. So that's a whole other video. That was just something that she had mentioned. And so along with the change in my diet, I started to do Pilates again. Now, she recommends working out for 1 hour at least 3 days a week, because in the first 25 to 30 minutes of your workout, you're going to be burning off like your excess carbohydrates and things like that, and it would be like the next half of the workout where you're really starting to like get into burning fat and things like that. So I take my dog for a walk for half an hour every day, and then that's in the morning. We go for like another 20-minute walk, and then we go for like a 15-minute walk in the evening. So I started to walk alone in the morning for half an hour by myself before doing that. And then I started doing Windsor Pilates. I had so much success with Pilates, and it's great for my bad knees. I have patella alta. I can't run even if I wanted to. So that's stretching. I mean, doing the 20-minute workout for like 3, maybe 4 times a week for just 2 weeks, I've lost like almost an inch. And it's incredible. Altogether, weight-wise, I've lost about 9 pounds. I can't tell. I think it's in my boobs, but I'm getting there. And that's the thing too. It's just slow. It's steady. It's something that you can stick to. And when you start to reach your goal weight, you know, you can have a little bit of that olive oil sometimes. You can have a little bit of that avocado sometimes, but you want to stay as low fat as you can. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, I was telling her about how I walk my dog, and I told her, you know, George Carlin said, if your dog is fat, you need to lose weight. And like that always stuck with me. I'm like, my dog isn't fat, but he was getting a little bit heavier. So, I mean, just take it slow. You know, if you have a bunch of food that you can't eat on this diet, you know, if you don't, donate it if you can. And if you want to eat it for now. And just try to focus on lots of green leafy vegetables, carrots, potatoes, rice. I happen to love Brussels sprouts. They're very, very good. Roasting veggies, throw them in, you know, and even if you have like a crock pot, you can use a little bit of veggie stock, a little bit of tomato paste, make a nice base for a vegetable stew. You can let that cook for a day, and then you can have it all week long. You know, some people even just bake potatoes and bring them with them to work to like snack on. So it's really sort of like how you know, want to eat. You can have some pastas, but for the weight loss part of this, I would stay away from them for at least like a month or two. I'm going to do 2 because, I mean, and my dietitian recommends pastas like the Pal pastas that are made from red and green lentils. They grind the lentils up into a flour, and they use that with like a quinoa flour once in a while, but I'm going to stay away from them for now. So there are a lot of studies out there and be like, carbohydrates are so bad for you, rice is a killer. Then there's gonna be other things that say fruit makes you fat, and this makes you fat, and sugar's good, sugar's bad, sugar feeds cancer. That's not even a fact, but a lot of people believe that. And you also have to pay attention, if you are gonna research a bunch of things, that yes, you're gonna find every diet kind of contradicts the other one. The actual medical doctors, you kind of want to focus on those, and it's important to realize that some research studies are funded by the meat industry, the dairy industry. Like Gatorade did a study that was ridiculous about all these people being dehydrated. You gotta hydrate, you gotta have your electrolytes. They funded that study. You know what I mean? So you want to pay attention to the sources, and just, you know, if you feel good eating it. Like when I was on Atkins, I felt awful. When I did vegan keto, I felt awful. It just wasn't for me. I didn't have enough energy, you know, and it just, you know, it just wasn't for me. So this might be something that you'd like to try, but don't try it for a few days and then weigh yourself and say, nope, not doing this. It didn't work. Just stick with it. Give it a good like 2 months and see how you feel. I guarantee you, like even after almost not even a month, I started to, even my husband was like, oh my God, you look so different. Like, oh, your ass is looking pretty good. Or, you know, he was like, your skin is looking great, you know, because you're still cutting out all of the processed junk, and you're still cutting out the sodas, and you're cutting out like the candy and everything. So I really think that this is a great diet for people that are vegan or want to transition into being vegan, or aren't even vegan at all. If you want to have your light piece of chicken or fish, you know, sometimes. But I think it's great for people that have allergies to different foods. If you have a lot of stomach issues, this has been great. And I've also noticed that my period cramps, like this month since doing this, were like non-existent. And usually, because I have ovarian cysts, I have a lot of cyst pain. Usually I am doubled over like in pain, and I didn't even know I was getting it. Boom, popped in last night around midnight. So there it was, and I didn't even know I was getting it, except for being like kind of a bitch. But so that's pretty much the basics of the diet, and I'll probably do a follow-up video just because I want to see how much weight I might lose, or more importantly, just like how much healthier and better I'm going to feel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't worry, we're back to Slaying Shades either tomorrow or Monday. I've got Slaying Shade Kathleen Lights coming up, Mango Tea, Shannon Rose. It's going to be a really, really good time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and follow me on Twitter. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Love and hugs. Bye.